podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
No brakes, no brakes, no fear, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Coming up this week, fast Freddy Lindgren is back in British Speedway.
Now I say it's a very, very tough league to race in with a lot of top names, and that's really exciting. And also, makes you be. You have to be really performing well to score points here, I believe, and the variety of tracks and the shale in the UK is always challenging. So that's going to be interesting.
An exclusive first interview with Freddy Lindgren since becoming a Birmingham Brummie on the way. Speaking of the Brummies, well, we've got a bit of a Brummie fest. We also hear from Nigel Tolley, and our main guest in this week's episode is Birmingham Brummies rising star Leon Flint. He's got a busy week racing for not just the Brummies but also Glasgow, and taking his place in the British Under-21 final too.
It all depends on what kind of attitude them boys turn up. And there's a lot more riders in that field that on the day could easily beat me, so can't be letting that happen.
More from Leon Flint on the way. Of course, we have reaction from Monday's Row Motor Oil Premiership fixtures, and reaction too from Italy. We sent our reporter Mike Boswell to Lonigo, one of the qualifying rounds for 2025's Speedway Grand Prix series, with no shortage of British-based riders in the hunt and qualifying for the challenge.
I keep saying it, I keep doing my work in silence when, not a lot of people seems noticing that, but I'm always there and I'm always pushing.
We'll hear from Paco Castagna and Dan Bewley later.
No brakes, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
So never a dull week in Speedway, and there's always a surprise around the corner, and we will kick off with that news that the Birmingham Brummies have pulled off the sensational signing of Swedish superstar Freddy Lindgren, who's going to join the club from the beginning of June. His first meeting will be next Monday, and the 38-year-old, who was last season's World Championship runner-up, returns to British Speedway for the first time in 7 years. The former World Cup winner has only ever ridden for Wolverhampton in the UK previously, spending 14 campaigns with the old Monmore Green outfit. But the Curtis Sport Brummies bosses are still determined to turn their fortunes around and make an impact in the Row Motor Oil Premiership. Coming soon, we'll hear from the CEO of the Birmingham Brummies, Nigel Tolley. But first, from the man himself, Ryan Guest has grabbed a chat on the phone in Freddy's only interview this week. Here is Freddy Lindgren.
Well, Freddy, big news coming out at the weekend that you're returning to British Speedway with the Birmingham Brummies. What was your thinking behind making that move?
Right now, I feel I felt a bit stuck and felt like I needed a change for myself. And UK came up and made a decision that I was interested, and I look forward to it now when I've signed for Birmingham.
You made a few changes to your racing schedule coming into the 2024 season, and I know you've been frustrated with how the Grand Prix series has got going, particularly rounds 2 and 3. Did that perhaps have an impact on the decision to return to British Speedway as well?
Honestly, I would say so. That it has had an impact on my decision. I wanted to maybe get for few more race meetings in the weeks.
And with Birmingham, you're obviously going to do that, but how much do you know about the club itself? Because you've only ever ridden for Wolverhampton in the UK previously, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know very much. Obviously, there is a connection with Samuel Molenko and Chris Adams working in the Birmingham club, and I raced together with Sam and have spent a lot of time with Chris with the Wolverhampton connection. So that feels good for me. There is some familiarities for me, and that's pretty much what I know. Obviously, I checked up how the season has been going so far for them this year and who's in the team and such, but that's really all I know at the moment.
A quick word on Samuel Molenko, now the Brummies team manager, of course. You've mentioned there how you raced with him right at the front end of your career. How did he help you settle in when you first came over to race in the UK, and what was it like having him as a teammate?
Samuel's he's a legend of the sport, a world champion and one of the most consistent riders at his prime, and I kind of came in at the end of his career, and I was coming up as young boys, so it was good to have someone with that much experience in the side when I raced my first couple of years in Wolverhampton.
And just finally, you know a lot of the Premiership tracks as well from that previous experience, but the current strength of the top league right now, does that make you even more excited for your return?
Definitely. The Premiership has grown stronger and stronger the last couple of years, and right now I say it's a very, very tough league to race in with a lot of top names, and that's really exciting. And also, makes you be, you have to be really performing well to score points here, I believe, and the variety of tracks and the shale in the UK is always challenging, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, Freddie, we really appreciate your time. It's a pleasure to have you back in British Speedway. Good luck in Prague at the weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in action at Petty Bar on Monday.
Yeah, see you next Monday.
Yeah, see you Monday. That's Freddy Lindgren, who is lining up for the Birmingham Brummies in his first match back in British Speedway next Monday, ironically against the Ipswich Witches, and that was exactly who the Brummies gave their Rowe Motor Oil Premiership season a kickstart against on Bank Holiday Monday, gaining the advantage 49-41 over the leaders Ipswich at Perry Bar. And they also took the aggregate bonus point, which went down to a superheat. Now, the Brummies, who've signed Fast Freddy, took advantage of the Witches' injury problems and put up a strong display with their full team contributing. Emil Sayfutinov put on a sensational showing for Ipswich, scoring 19 points from 7 rides. And with the aggregate scores level, the superheat was required. And while Emil won the race, the Brummies duo of Tom Brennan and Steve Worrell crucially finished ahead of the Witches' guest Nikolai Clint. Steve Worrell then top scoring for the home side with 10 plus 2 bonus. Victor Lampart impressed at reserve with 10 as the Brummies took their second win of the season. Well, we can get some reaction after that fixture. We'll hear first of all from Witches number 1, Emil Sayfutinov. 19 points for Emil, but still not enough for the Witches on the night.
Well, Emil Sayfutinov obviously missing 3 riders tonight. Just how hard was that for the team?
Yeah, it's just a tough time for us, because 3 big names of the team, we're missing today, and we try to do what's possible, and so we lose. Anyway, we try to be positive, and then we have another meeting, and then we try to pushing, and get some points.
Yeah, for yourself individually, though, it was a fantastic night. Kept the Witches in it, 19 points, and then winning that superheat as well.
Feeling is so good, and then I never did actually 8 hits, in the meeting. So it's I try to do, like I said, it's everything for the team, and to support, and so I don't have even time, it's what score it was, just say you have to go there, and then just being ready. So track was a little bit tricky because it was big rain, shower, so it's but anyway, it's it was good condition, after a few hits, and just track was brilliant, to racing.
Yeah, and how must the Witches respond now? Obviously, it's a big meeting on Thursday night for yourselves as well, and more than likely going to have to do it without the same riders.
We'll see. It's sometimes it's we try to forget about today, and then we focus it for next one. So we'll see. When we come, it will be for sure different condition, different track, and then we have to do something different, and then we'll see. So I hope it's like I said, our team is. We miss guys, is coming soon, and we'll be again. It's full team, and we will be fighting about the good points.
Emil, well done to yourself tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, not an easy task going there without Danny King, of course, already out injured, but hopefully he's looking to come back very soon. Adam Ellis getting injured over the course of the last weekend, and Jason Doyle, of course, still out as well. 3 big riders that they've been missing, and they go down to a defeat at the hands of the Birmingham Brummies on Bank Holiday Monday. As we've heard, though, we've heard about Freddy Lindgren coming into the side, the decision as to who is going to make way. still hasn't been made, and they've said they're going to be monitoring performances closely. And when you have a performance like that, beating the team at the top of the table and everybody doing their bit, really, it gives Nigel Tolley a bit of a headache. Let's hear where his mind's at and his reaction to a big win, first of all, over the Ipswich Witches with Ryan Guest and Nigel Tolley.
Well, Nigel, I know Ipswich were without three of their big hitters here at Perry Bar tonight, but nevertheless, 3 league points. Just how big a night is that for the Brummies?
Fantastic. It's what we needed, what we wanted, and it's what we got at the end of the day. Ipswich are there at the top of the league. They almost think they were running away with the league. And we've come out and not only beaten them, we've got the bonus point. If I can call it that, because they did an absolutely superb job, but with our second team, because Freddie wasn't with us tonight. Freddie will be with us next week. So what an absolutely superb job the riders did, getting those bonus points in. And what a superb night's racing. So close. Evens all the way through, 3 apiece. 4-2s one way, 4-2 the other way, etc, etc. And then we started to get those 5-1s, and what a difference that made. Superb meeting, and I think everybody in the crowd enjoyed it.
Yeah, how impressed were you as well? Because obviously it's been more or less a month since you were last here and that first win of the season over Bellevue. So to go that period of time and continue that momentum here at Perry Bar, just how good does that feel?
Well, brilliant, because everybody was forgetting what a meeting was like at Perry Bar. We badly needed some decent weather and another win, which is exactly what we were given. Obviously, the late rain made a big difference, and as everybody knows, it was a bit of a game to get the track rideable. But yeah, we did it, and what a superb job the volunteers did. I mean, they really, really worked hard to make sure that meeting went ahead.
They did. Obviously, the news announced on Sunday night as well, as you've already touched upon as well, that Freddy Lindgren's joining the Brummies from the start of June, going to be making his debut next Monday here at Perry Bar. In that statement that the club released, you said you haven't yet made your decision. After that showing tonight, a nice headache to have?
No, not really. It'd be absolutely great if we could keep 8 riders and have a reserve. But it doesn't work like that in Speedway, does it? And no, the decision has been made significantly more difficult after tonight, really has. Don't want to lose any of them.
Yeah, and like you say, that's good to see, though, because it has been a tough and testing start to life in the Premiership, but you got to give full credit to the riders for sticking at it and turning things around.
Well, yes, they did do a really good job tonight, and they've been progressively improving. All of them have been progressively improving. But at the end of the day, we couldn't refuse having Freddie in the team. He will make such a difference. We're talking about a team now that certainly, if we're maybe a little bit earlier in the season, we could lift the league, and we're starting to worry teams now. Ipswich, as I say, they thought they were running away with the league, but we've got the bonus point as well. We're going to see some excellent racing at Perry Bar and away for the rest of the season. We really are. We've got now a team that's going to go places.
Well, the next place they'll be going will be Sheffield, and that's in the Row Motor All Premiership this Thursday. And then on Monday, it could be Ipswich again, or it might be Leicester. Those two sides are going to battle it out on Thursday in the Knockout Cup. If it is Ipswich that gets through to the semi-final of the Knockout Cup, then of course they'll be riding them in the Knockout Cup. If that doesn't happen, they will be racing against Ipswich in a Row Motor All Premiership fixture. So they're definitely riding Ipswich on Monday, which will be the debut of Freddy Lindgren. The tournament of which they'll be riding against each other is yet to be confirmed. But Ipswich do have an advantage heading into the second leg, which will be on their home circuit at Vauxhall on Thursday night. But more about that in a little bit. Right now, let's, on the subject of Sheffield, stick with them, because Sheffield moved to within 4 points of the top of the Row Motor Oil Premiership after winning a weather-affected derby clash at Bellevue at the National Speedway Stadium on Bank Holiday Monday. The Tigers ending the Aces' unbeaten home record as well with a fast gating performance to win 35-25. The result called after 10 races. Rain before and during the meeting caused delays, and the efforts of the Aces track staff to recover the circuit from the heavy downpour that came just after Heat 10 proved to be in vain. So not ideal conditions really for either side. The Aces being given the time by referee Dave Waters to try and rescue the track and to bring it back good again, but those efforts really were in vain, and it didn't all work out the way that anyone at the Aces would have liked. Let's hear from the Sheffield team manager though, Simon Stead, with Ryan Guest.
Well, Steady, first and foremost, let's focus on the result. It's an away win and a big one for the Tigers at that.
Yeah, really convincing. And I think actually the way that we were going, had the rain not come in and spoilt things, I think we would have carried on, and I think we would have even increased that points haul. So it's hard on, because obviously I'm pleased with the result, but obviously I'm just disappointed with the circumstances surrounding the rest of the carry on, because it was I'm not saying it was avoidable, but I just think the reality is a lot of people have been waiting around a long time, and unfortunately we only got to see 10 heats of racing. But first and foremost, rider safety has to come into play. The reality is the referee gave Bellevue adequate time to do as much as they could to make the track safe and raceable, and unfortunately after a long wait that wasn't the case. So but like I said, if we focus on the positives, we've come to Bellevue and we've got to win. So.
Yeah, and after that first track grading break as well, that proved pivotal in the end, making some fast gates, which was obviously vital out there.
Yeah, and I think we were really getting stronger as the meeting progressed, and I think actually we were making good starts off unfavourable ones, and I think as the meeting turned, I think we would have had some more favourable gates come into play for us later on in the meeting as well. So like I said, I was really, really pleased with how the boys were riding. They attacked it. They showed full determination, and they gave me 110%. You can't ask for any more than that. And the fact that we've come to Bellevue and got a result is something that not many people do.
Yeah, and just a quick one on that situation as well. Like you say, I think it was an hour and 25 minutes after the final race finished as well. From Bellevue's point of view, do you see why they were desperate to get it on from both the meeting point of view and obviously the bank holiday crowd?
Yeah, absolutely get it. And it was the referee is the man in charge, and the guy that makes the decision on whether or not the meeting proceeds or not. The reality is Bellevue are 10 down with 5 heats left. Of course they're going to try everything to get it on. From our point of view, if the track was raceable and safe, then we had no problem carrying on. And the referee made that decision, not us, not anybody else. Do I think it was the right decision? Yeah, I do.
Thursday night against Birmingham, a chance to build now, because it has been a big few days realistically for the Tigers.
Yeah, it has. The ups and downs of Speedway, that's how it goes. I think the most important for us, and the focus point, is how we've responded to a difficult one against Ipswich. So the fact that we've turned that round and had a good home win against Leicester, and then carried on that momentum and had a really good away win at Bellevue. The momentum's back with us now, and we can push on.
Simon Stead of the Sheffield Tigers there, and yeah, it's Sheffield back at Ollerton on Thursday against the Birmingham Brummies. Meanwhile, the Leicester Lions move back into the Rowe Motor Oil Premiership playoff places with an impressive 54-36 home win over Oxford. Captain Max Frick scoring 14+1, a paid maximum, and the bumps for him afterwards. And he combined for 3 5-1s with his regular race partner Richard Lawson, who scored 9+2. Eric Riss with 8+1, Chris Harris on 8 were both the top scorers for the Spires, who now face an uphill battle for the aggregate bonus point when the sides meet again at Cowley next week. Get some reaction then, and we'll start off with the top scorer for the Leicester Lions, Max Frick, speaking to Scott Nichols.
In form tonight, excuse the pun, but you've had your time of your life tonight.
Yeah, it's had not a bad one tonight, so that's good. It's great team performance, so it's nice to get a good win tonight, and we've had a few weeks off from here, so it's good to kind of come back and put in a good score.
Yeah, it is. You've had a fantastic night. We can see on camera there. You kind of dominated from race one, having a look for your teammate all night, unbeaten by the opposition. But it is a team sport. Without the backup of your team, you couldn't have won tonight.
No, exactly. And the boys all rode really well tonight. Richard was unreal, a great person to ride with as well throughout the night. So hopefully we can keep that up going into the next few weeks and few meetings.
And how important is it for you to have that good chemistry with your team partner, obviously Richard Lawson at number 2 there?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think, both he and I respect each other and, give each other a bit of a look from time to time and just to be aware from where each other are on the track. So, being able to have someone that you can rely on and, you kind of can understand what each other are going to go and do, I think it goes a long way.
Well, Scott Nicholls also been chatting to the 2 team managers on Eurosport prior to Heat 15, but the result was already in the bag. We'll hear from Stuart Dixon in a moment, but first of all, the Oxford Spires team manager, Peter Schrock.
But mate, it certainly hasn't gone to plan for you tonight, and it was a night you really wanted to try and turn things around for the Spires.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, we're in the middle of the season, we're not looking too bad yet. Tonight, it all went wrong. We're 18 down, too many last places. It's very simple. You don't have to be Einstein to work it out. So, we just have to, make the best out of the last race, try and get the points down a little bit, and then they have to come to us, and we'll have to work that a little bit harder to make sure that we're going to come out on top.
You're a former rider yourself, and I know you wear your heart on your sleeve. I know you take this personally as well. You're kind of out there with the boys. What's the game plan? What do you do with the boys between now and the next match?
Yeah, we just got, it's keeping their morale up. When you look at it tonight, it was a case of making the starts, and that's where some of them let themselves down, and so it was like follow the leader, and that's what the racing was. So it was very critical tonight to make the starts, and Leicester, they used their home track advantage, and they worked out really well. So fair play to them, but they, like I said, they have to come to us now, and we'll just have to return the favour somehow.
Stuart, kind of in a similar boat to Oxford tonight. You've had an up and down season. You really need to turn things around, and you've put in a phenomenal performance tonight.
Yeah, you're right. Our results have been mixed, very up and down, Scott, but tonight was much better. Riders asked for grippy starts tonight and a slicker track surface, which I gave them. They've responded, they've done their job. We've got 18 points, and we'd like to try and build on that Heat 15, because we know Oxford will be a tough nut at their place next Monday.
It certainly will. The pressure's been on you. I've ridden under you before. I know you're a passionate team manager, but has the chat or anything been any different before tonight's meeting?
It was just a nice normal chat, and in the last minute or so I went a bit harder on the boys, and there's still something ringing in their ears when they walk off the track. It's a problem you do a team talk, the track walk. It's an hour before the meeting. Sometimes it can be forgotten about, but no, I got the response I wanted. We've done the job, and now we need to finish it off in Heat 15, trying to get our heat advantage.
Yeah, and finish it off they did. So it all finished at the Pidcock Motorcycles Arena, 54-36. One bit of news, Justin, just to briefly tell you about. Leicester have moved to sign the former British champion Craig Cook for a second spell at the club. Previously with the Watling JCB Lions last year. He's just completed a 28-day spell as injury cover for Louis Kerr. Well, Louis Kerr now coming back into the side. So Craig Cook now available, and he comes in to the Leicester Lions team in place of Drew Kemp, who the club would like to thank for his efforts over the last year. So one to watch there, with certainly some experience in the reserve berths coming in to the Leicester Lions side in the form of Craig Cook. Well, let's have a look at the upcoming fixtures for the next few days then in the Rowe Motor Oil Premiership. And, we'll start off with the fixtures on Thursday. And Thursday features the Sheffield Tigers up against the Birmingham Brummies. That was the one that, of course, at Perry Bar that had to be decided by a superheat. So the aggregate bonus points will go to the winner of that clash at Oleton, with the scores being level on 45 apiece after the first leg. And also on Thursday this week, we've got the second leg of the Premiership Knockout Cup quarter-final second leg between Ipswich and Leicester. It's 48-42 in favour of Ipswich going into that one. Now, if Ipswich win that, whoever wins that will face Birmingham in the next round of the Premiership Knockout Cup in the semi-finals. If it is Ipswich, they will race against Birmingham on Monday, coming up next week. And if it's Leicester, then that fixture will take place on another day. But all to race for in that one. And then looking ahead to Monday, as I mentioned there, we've got that fixture between Birmingham and Ipswich. And if Ipswich don't make it through to the next round of the Knockout Cup, then it will be a Premiership fixture. So Birmingham v Ipswich, one way or another. And then we've also got the Row Motor Oil Premiership clash between the Oxford Spires and the Leicester Lions, which will be on Monday evening as well. And then looking at to next Thursday, you've got Leicester or Ipswich versus Birmingham in the second leg of that Knockout Cup semi-final, and Kingsland versus Sheffield in the Knockout Cup semi-final as well. So it's all Knockout Cup next Thursday, but we'll talk about that next week, I imagine. So that's how things look on the fixture front. And just taking a look at the Row Motor Oil Premiership standings at this moment in time, then after those fixtures on Bank Holiday Monday, the Ipswich Witches, despite that loss, they still lead the way with a game in hand over the Bellevue Aces. 18 points on the board. Bellevue second place, 11 ridden and 17. Third place at the moment, the Sheffield Tigers. They've ridden 8 meetings, so still have a few in hand over the Bellevue Aces and the Ipswich Witches. They're on 14 points. And then Leicester in fourth, 9 meetings ridden and 11. Oxford at fifth, 10 meetings ridden and 11 points. And then sixth place at the moment, the Birmingham Brummies with 6 points on the board from 10 meetings. And the Kingsland Stars, 8 ridden and 1 point on the board. But of course, that deduction of the 2 league points is still being appealed against. But as it stands, they have the 1 point at this moment in time. So that's how the Row Motor Oil Premiership looks. So it is a busy week for the Birmingham Brummies and an interesting period ahead. With that win on Monday, they've got the reigning champions, the Sheffield Tigers, on Thursday, and then facing the Ipswich Witches one way or another next Monday, but with last year's world number 2 joining the ranks between now and then, with Freddy Lindgren arriving. And he'll make his Perry Bar debut on Monday. One rider who is absolutely sure he is going to be part of things because he cannot be dropped for Freddie Lindgren is Leon Flint. And we've got Leon Flint with us in the next part of No Breaks, No Fear to talk about all of that.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
So our main guest in this week's episode is a rider who is heading into a very busy period of fixtures, both domestically, personally, and also internationally as well. Leon Flint joins us. And, just to give people an idea of your diary, you've got a couple of fixtures with Birmingham. You rode on Monday. You've got a fixture on Thursday, fixture again next Monday. You're riding with Glasgow at the weekend as well. Plus, you've got the British Under-21 final to come and an SGP2 qualifier as well. So it's a busy period. We'll talk about all of that. But starting on Monday at Perry Bar, a big win against the side currently top of the table. And certainly I know, obviously, there's pressure we'll talk about on various riders now as to who's going to make way for Freddy Lindgren. But certainly must be a confidence booster to get a win against Ipswich like that.
Yeah, certainly. It's all just a bit crazy what's going on at the minute. I mean, I believe I'm safe, but you know, it's a very strange team environment when the other 6 riders are, you know, they're thinking, well, could it be me that's going out? You know, it's just a bit bizarre, but yeah, it was good to get the win over Ipswich. Bit of a poor night for myself. Got sent for a hot dog and then took all the roost of from the other lads. But anyways, it was, you know, the most important thing was the team won, and hopefully we can build on that.
Yeah, tough night for you personally, and it's just sometimes how it goes, isn't it? And best laid plans, you can have this, you know, people will say, any speedway rider will say, you can have a bike that gets you a maximum one week and you ride exactly the same bike on exactly the same track the following week, and it just doesn't work out. But that's sometimes the puzzle of speedway, isn't it? There's no straight answer sometimes. Of course, you'd score as many as you could. It's not like you're there to score a low amount, but it's I guess it's hard keeping your head in the game, isn't it, when things aren't going your way?
Yeah, totally. I'm struggling to understand how literally 1 week, you know, like, the last meeting I had there against Bellevue, had a pretty good one. And then, this week I have a bit of a stinker, but it was always going to be a tough battle for us when, first race you come off trying to get round someone and you weigh about 20 kilo heavier from all the dirt on you. But it's all good. I'm just rather glad that I've got a busy weekend just to keep myself on the bike and almost redeem myself.
What's the atmosphere been like this week, though? Because I guess in the wider world, there's been great excitement about Freddy Lindgren coming to British Speedway. But at this moment in time, none of you know, and it's not going to be you. We know that it's not going to be you. That's the only rider that we definitely know it's not going to be. That somebody's going to have to make way for Freddie to come in. And what does that do, and how's that been among the guys, knowing that one of the riders that you lined up against on Monday, or indeed will line up against on Thursday, won't be in the team come next week?
Yeah, it's just bizarre. Luckily, I've never been in the position where I have got the sack, so I don't really know how it feels. But I can imagine, the boys are, pretty tense. No one really wants to get sacked. But yeah, it's a bit of a strange team environment at the minute because, everyone wants to do their best. Maybe it could have been done a little bit better, press-wise. But it's done now, and all the boys will be certainly going to Sheffield wanting to score some points to make sure it's not them getting dropped.
Obviously you are going to Sheffield, the reigning champions, on Thursday. Not an easy place to go, a track that requires real, out-and-out speed, really, isn't it? And do you think that may favour some of the guys who might potentially be in line for having to make way for Freddy Lindgren, though, having a different sort of place to race where it is all about out-and-out racing? I'm looking at maybe some of the more the European guys. You got Lampart and Pavlicki in there, and maybe the likes of Sheffield might suit them a little more.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We thought that with Bellevue, but it didn't exactly go to plan there either. But hopefully, Victor was real good on Monday. So, and Pavlicki as well. They look like they're settling in, and Sedgy as well. Sedgy was going real good. Well, to be fair, all of them was real good. It was just kind of me that didn't back any of it up really. So yeah, I think if we all kind of turn up on the same night, there's no reason why we couldn't go and do a job at Sheffield.
It is going to be tough on that rider, whoever that ends up being. But then looking further into time, though, with a team with Freddy Lindgren in it, is that really now takes you onto a different level? I think when you look at the lineups for the Heat 13s and 15s potentially, even Heat 1, you've got a rider there that I suppose you can say is without doubt, world class, that can hold his own against the likes of Woofenden or Bewley or anybody else that you might encounter in this league now.
Yeah, let's hope so. He's world number 2 for a reason and gets in the points straight away. Hopefully he doesn't need too much time settling in. And I'm looking forward to riding with him. It's obviously, just a shame whoever has to make way.
There's a bit of a Wolves connection around Birmingham, though, isn't there? With yourself, ex-Wolves rider, you've got Steve Worrell in there, and not least the likes of Samo Malenko and Chris Adams involved in the setup as well, and no doubt a good amount of ex-Wolves or current Wolves fans, I guess, who are displaced at this moment in time, making their way to Perry Bar to take in the action and signing another Wolves legend from the days gone by in Freddy Lindgren, the only team he's ever ridden for in British Speedway is Wolves. That surely is going to give something for those fans to come down and take a look at the Brummies, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a fair amount of Wolves fans, turning up, and they're still wearing the Wolves hats and jackets and stuff like that. So it's good to see, and yeah, I always try to make time for them, whenever I see them, and they're all amazing. My time at Wolverhampton, they was with me through the thick and thin of it, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. They always stuck by me. Even when things were bad, they always just, they didn't speak bad on me. There was hardly ever anything on social media, that kind of thing. So if there was anyone that was saying anything on social media, there was this big flock of fans just shutting them down. So yeah, they're all great people, and I do in time hope that we can get back at Wolverhampton Speedway.
Yeah, and that work obviously continues on that front. Looking at your programme then for this week then, busy old time with your fixtures, obviously 2 fixtures this week with Birmingham, and then you've got the Birmingham fixture again at Perry Bar next Monday. In between that though, you've got a busy weekend ahead because Friday you're off to Armadale because it's the Scottish Derby in the BSN series, and really it's a decider between the two sides as well. If there wasn't already enough needle in it, Edinburgh versus Glasgow, both sides needing the win there to get through to the next round of the BSN series. And then you've got the under-21 final as well. We'll talk about that in a sec at Glasgow. So busy old time on that front now that you're a Glasgow rider.
Certainly, we've only got one job to do, and that's go and win. But yeah, the last meeting, it was, rather bizarre, the ending. But to be fair, we shouldn't have even let it get to that point where, they could even get that kind of result that late on in the meeting. But that's done now. We've only got ourselves to blame for that. So, we know the job on the table now is just to go and smoke them, really. There's no reason why we can't. I mean, they've done it at our place, so we sure can go and do it to them.
Yeah, well, I hope your trip to Armadale is more fruitful than mine last week, where I drove all the way there and then it was off as soon as we turned the corner. But a big change for you, though. You signed for Glasgow. They're the reigning champions. You've come away from Berwick for the first time, really, in your career at that level. And so, moving on to a new venue is a big step for you.
Yeah, it was a probably the biggest decision of my life, really. It's been going all right. It's been going very, very steady, but too steady for my liking. I've not had any, terrible meetings, but I've not had any meetings to make people go, "Oh, did you see how many he scored last night?" kind of thing. I think I'm finding my feet at Glasgow. Kind of been a bit unlucky the last couple of weeks because, every time I've been there, the track's been a slightly bit different. Where Glasgow, if you've not got the setup, it's that fast of a place. You get caught out real quick. So yeah, I'm doing everything I can to give myself the best chance round there, trying to get as much practice in there and stuff like that. But yeah, it's cool working with new promotion, Cammy, Peter especially. Seeing how much of, seeing all the stuff he does behind the scenes, and with the big business he's involved with at Allied. It's quite cool to be a part of it. It's professional, and you feel like you have to meet the expectations, which it's good. It's good. I think it brings out something a bit more in me.
Yeah, it pushes you on, and there is that little bit more pressure, I suppose, isn't there? A team like Glasgow, maybe similar to Poole as well, and clubs like that, where obviously now being the reigning champions and regularly getting to cup finals, that sort of becomes the bar, doesn't it? And the expectation is to maybe perhaps at Berwick was to do as well as you could, whereas at Glasgow it's like you need to get to the final stages of these things, and otherwise it's a disappointment.
Yeah, with Berwick, it was always the case that we wanted to win, and it was never like, oh, do your best, boys. We was always turning up to win, but with Glasgow, it's it's the mentality there. Especially after the guys there winning last year, there's certainly much more higher expectations to go and do it this year, where, in hindsight, it's probably harder to kind of try and go back to back because you've got the tail on your back that everyone's trying to, try and get. But yeah, man, I'm up for it. And yeah, really, we're only getting started in the season, so let's just try and keep the ball rolling.
And then those laps of Glasgow that you have done, though, could certainly be important come Sunday, because it is the British Under-21 Championships. You are a former Under-21 champion. This, I think, your last shot at this level of Speedway, and there will be some big competition. Dan Thompson, no doubt, will have his eye on it, as of course all of the riders will who are going to be lining up in it. But you certainly will be one of the riders to beat.
What was it, 2022? Had the under-19s and the under-21s maxed out in both of them, but last year was, just in the under-21s, and literally I remember like it was yesterday, I tried absolutely everything and could not get anything to work. I think I finished with 5 second places, and it was absolutely devastating. But going into Sunday with a lot more confidence, a lot more knowledge of the place as well. So I think there'll be some good battles between me and Dan, especially. Dan's on hot form, so yeah, it'll be a good meeting.
So the lineup then for the Under-21 final at Glasgow on Sunday features in draw order: 1, Ashton Bowden; 2, Ben Trigger; 3, Max James; 4, Sam Hagan; 5, Mickey Simpson; 6, Joe Thompson; 7, Leon Flint; 8, Dan Thompson; Vinnie Ford at 9, 10, Jake Mulford; 11, Luke Harrison; 12, Freddie Hodder; 13, Nathan Ablett; 14, Ace Piper; 15, Jody Scott; and 16, Luke Colleen. And the 2 track reserves are Chad Wurtzfeld and Sam McGurk. So, handy lineup that. I mean, obviously, the best of the rising stars all were seeded through anyway, and then there was the qualifiers. Sam Hagan won that as well. Of course, he's done some laps around Glasgow as a guest too, so it could be another one to watch. Ashton Bowden was buzzing around last year and certainly has got his eye on it. He said so. So it is going to be a fascinating contest.
Yeah, totally. There's a few of the other lads there that beat me fair and square on the day, especially Ashton. Sam, I'm sure, as well, probably has. So, it all depends on, what kind of attitude them boys turn up. And there's a lot more riders in that field that on the day could easily beat me. So, yeah, can't be letting that happen.
Okay, so that's Sunday, and then, for the BSN fans, they're in for a Leon Flint treat because, on Thursday, BSN are doing Sheffield versus Birmingham, the Under-21 final on Sunday, and then on Monday to Perry Bar for Birmingham Brummies versus the Ipswich Witches, but what contest that will be in, we're not sure. But either way, whether it happens on Monday or at a later date against Leicester, that you are surely through to the semi-final of the Knockout Cup for sure. So that is in your hands, and a win over whoever you face up to in that next round And before you know it, very quickly, you could be on the verge of a cup final, and that is going to really transform Birmingham's season, should that be the case, considering to be going there with Freddy Lindgren in the side this time.
Yeah, totally. And, especially with Doyley out, it makes things a bit interesting because, replacing someone like Doyley, I think it's near impossible, if I'm being honest. Obviously, not nice what's happened to him. Hopefully he has a real speedy recovery, especially, with his GP campaign. Hope he gets back into it ready to go. But it's trying to replace someone like him, it's near impossible. And, you could almost every meeting bank your house on it for him to near enough get a maximum. So him being out, it makes things, a bit more interesting for us. Probably a bit more confidence, if anything. So yeah, hopefully Freddie comes in and, can just get going from the get-go. I'm, pretty sure he'll remember how to get around most of the places, so we should be all right.
And then, following on from all that, you've also got a big meeting the following Saturday. You are not in the British final because you've got a bit of a fixture clash, because it's the qualifier for SGP2, which is the World Under-21 Championships, but of course piggybacks along with the SGP series. So that's 3 rounds to decide the World Under-21 champion, and you've got a qualifier in France at Macon. So that is going to be happening the same day as the British final.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Normally, me and a couple of lads, we hired it out and we'd go over there at the start of the year just to go and have a ride. So saying that was a very long time ago. But yeah, I'm the start of the year I had this meeting on the biggest one on the calendar, and it's going to be tough, no doubt about that. But this is my last pop at it, so I want to go down fighting, and I'll be doing everything to try and make that top 4 or top 3 or whatever it is.
Yeah, and all power to you, because it's not a cheap thing to do, but to have the best gear you can have under you surely gives you confidence, but it also means that you're not looking back on fixtures thinking, well, if only I had better gear, or if only I'd invested, looking back in hindsight, but doing it beforehand and giving yourself the best chance.
Yeah, totally. I've spent a lot of money on the kit in Poland and stuff like that to, stop myself, at the end of the meeting saying, oh, well, if I had this, if I had that, I'd have more of a chance of, if I had a better engine, if I had these bloody tubeless wheels, or just all that kind of stuff. I've just eliminated that and, worked all winter, tried getting as many sponsors as I can, and put everything, every penny I've got into my racing in general, and hopefully going to work out for us. Hopefully, yeah, no excuses, all down to me.
And it's a busy period for you as well, as we touched on with all those fixtures. But this is what you live for, isn't it? At this point of the season where it's all happening.
Yeah, I've got come Thursday 5 and 5 days. I've got obviously Thursday, Friday, Saturday Redcar, Sunday, Monday. So it's perfect. I mean, considering yesterday was my first meeting in over 2 weeks in England, it's good to get back on the bike. I mean, even when I have days off and stuff like that, I get my bike done and I'm like, right, where we go now? I'm just bored in the house, looking for stuff to do.
Yeah, well, this time next week you'll be back in the motorway service stations once again at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to find somebody in WH Smith's who can fix the coffee machine. All these kind of glorious, glamorous things that become part of Speedway life.
I'm done with buying expensive coffee now, but saying that I buy the the cold coffee, the triple espresso one that costs about £4.
Yeah, triple espresso and a bag of Skittles on the side to go, and you're all set.
No.
Anyway, we'll see you on Thursday at Oleton for the clash between Sheffield and Birmingham. Then
Is BSN there?
yes, Sheffield versus Birmingham, and then also for the Leon Flint spotters, we've got the under-21 final on Sunday. Monday, Birmingham versus Ipswich, and I think that's about it for the Leon Flint fans for this next week. But it's a fair few appearances for you.
But yeah, I'm just going to hide my bikes in the back of that crafter.
Kill two birds with one stone. Adam Roynan can do the bike clean while you're on the way, and all sorted. Well, look, thanks a lot, Leon. Cheers for the chat, and all the best with everything. And starting off with the fixture on Thursday for the Brummies, and then, of course, not least, the under-21 for the British Championship, but also the SGP2 qualification as well. Go well.
I will do.
Leon Flint of the Birmingham Brummies, Glasgow Tigers, and also going for glory in the British Under-21 Championships on Sunday and to qualify for SGP2 next weekend. And on the subject of Grand Prix qualification, our reporter Mike Boswell, well, he's been saying a ciao bella as he headed to Lonigo and caught up with a few of the riders involved in the SGP qualifier there, as the race to be a regular Grand Prix rider in 2025 hots up, with riders getting their places in the Grand Prix Challenge later this year. And there were a couple of British-based riders in action in Lonigo. We'll have some reaction from those in just a couple of moments on No Brakes, No Fear.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
So in this final part, we'll have a look at the Speedway Grand Prix qualifiers, which took place last weekend. There was no shortage of British-based talent involved, not least in Lonigo in Italy, which featured the likes of Dan Bewley, Jamin Lidsey, Jack Holder, and Edinburgh's Paco Castagna, who's one of the riders who made it through to the Grand Prix Challenge at Pardubice, which is happening right at the end of the season. And so he is one meeting away, potentially 5 rides away from qualifying for the Speedway Grand Prix. And he meant business on a track you could consider his home track, really, of Lonigo. And the fans were out in force to support him. Our reporter Mike Boswell headed to Lonigo and caught up with Paco after securing his place in the meeting that will decide some of the riders for next year's Grand Prix series.
Paco, your home track, you've got to pass through to the Speedway GP Challenge. How are you feeling about it?
Well, surely, it was a great relief. It's not a nice way to finish the meeting, obviously, with a crash with Jack, but, it's hard racing, and that's where I want to race, so you got to be there. I'm very, very happy. Before the meeting, obviously, there was a lot of doubt because the lineup was a lot harder than last year, and I made a great meeting last year, and I knew that I had to push very hard this year to qualify. But, the team worked very, very hard, and what a meeting. Great start, and I really, really had to dig deep in the last couple of heats to qualify, and it was a great job.
And really, you were taking it to the GP riders. There was no doubt you were on par at many points throughout the meeting. Was it home track advantage for you?
Well, surely a couple of lines more than everybody else don't know. But I guess that you still have to do the work on the track. You still have to make the starts, and you still have to be there. And I was working hard tonight. The track was a little bit different than normal because of the rain. So it really was kind of a plain field, and I really enjoyed my racing tonight. I keep saying it, I keep doing my work in silence when, not a lot of people seems noticing that, but I'm always there and I'm always pushing.
And just finally, obviously, Edinburgh, it's been a little bit difficult with Edinburgh, but surely this form's going to rub off on Edinburgh at some point, isn't it?
Yeah, I had a good start of the season, and I only had a couple of bad meetings where I had a couple of bike problems here and there, but I'm pushing very hard to improve, and I think that a meeting like tonight shows it.
So there's Paco Castagna. Dan Bewley then also made a great impression on his trip to Lonigo. In fact, in his final heat, he won the heat and then fell off, almost reminiscent of the likes of Jason Doyle in the Grand Prix. But certainly the Italian fans were cheering the Bellevue ace on. Here is Dan Bewley.
Yeah, currently I've got a sore ass. I flipped it after the race, so but yeah, good, awesome, and just on to the next meeting now.
And sort of like the season so far, we're a few months in now, the Bing Bang Booley kind of effect seems to be going. Oxford, good for you as well, 13 plus 1. How are you feeling about your season?
Yeah, it's starting to come around and starting to feel good, but to be honest, I couldn't really hang on in Oxford, and it's pretty sore today, but I actually ended up flying back to Wroclaw yesterday, seeing the club physio, and thanks for him for helping me with my hand. So
just out of interest, obviously you just said you flew back to Wroclaw. It's a busy season now. You've had GPs. How the heck does the logistics work for a non-educated person on how you get around the world as a speedway rider?
Yeah, after Oxford, I drove to East Midlands, flew through from there to Wroclaw, went physio all day on my thumb, and then 7 p.m. I flew Wroclaw to Venice, I think it was. So.
Have you had a chance, ever been and had a look around Venice, or was it quick flying in and out?
No, I was absolutely wrecked by the time I got there, so I was falling asleep all day in the physio, and 10 o'clock last night I went to bed and I woke up 9:30 for breakfast.
All right, well, congratulations, Dan. Great second place, and enjoy your evening. Perhaps you going overnight now back to Poland?
Yeah, that's it. We're going back, but just shout out thanks to all the Italian fans. First time I've been here, and they're crazy. They're awesome.
So Dan Bewley through. Jack Holder also qualified, as we mentioned as well. Paco Castagna was fourth place. But the winner on the night was the Czech rider Jan Kvek, who put 5 solid rides together to take him through to the GP Challenge at a track he knows only too well. But also indicating in this that maybe he might fancy joining the party in British Speedway as well soon. Here is Jan Kvek.
I'm lost only 1 point, but that was my mistakes. I'm lost the starts and done win the heats, but I like it Lonigo, I like it Italian, and today was good setup.
Well, it seems that you certainly got adopted. Paco Castagna has a huge following here, but yet everyone was certainly cheering you on towards the end. And it wasn't easy with a number of GP riders involved as well. How did you find that going against those guys?
Today was very tough to race because there was many riders from Grand Prix, but I'm with these guys in Grand Prix. I'm normal racing, and I'm saying I was good setup. More helped me last year because last year I was same race here, but more helped me with the setup with my bike, and I'm very happy for the win.
And sort of racing for you this year, what leagues are you involved with? Has any British club approached you to be involved yet?
What? Sorry?
Has any British club approached you to be involved?
I want to try go to England, but we will see what will be this year, because for me was on first place Grand Prix and Poland League, and if I not will be have more races, I want to go to England.
I'm sure there's fans who would love to see you in England. Now, on to the Speedway Challenge, GP Challenge, Parderbees, huge meeting that particular weekend. Do you have inside knowledge? Are you happy it's a home track that you might know?
Yeah, today was the first step, go to the Grand Prix. Second step will be in Pardubice. I know very well that's this track, but always it's hard racing home because is there too much stress. The fans want a good result for me, but more stress, and no, we will see what will be. I want to big. I say the Grand Prix was my dream from start of my career. Now I'm almost there. I want to be there. I want to stay there, and I will be doing all for this.
Well, good luck, and I really hope to see you come through that GP Challenge. Thank you, Jan, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jan Kvek then, one of the riders making it through to that GP challenge later on in the year. So it was Paco Castagna, Jack Holder, Dan Bewley and Jan Kvek from that round in Lanigo. Qualifiers from one of the earlier rounds at Ebensburg in Austria. Kai Hülkenberg, Rasmus Jensen, Dominic Kubera and Max Frick also join the pots for Pau de Bis, as do Shemek Pavlicki, Antonio Lindbach, Andrei Lebedevs and Kasper Warina. And the final 4 riders to be in there are Anders Thompson, Patrick Dudek, Brady Kurtz and Robert Lambert. Pick your top 4 out of that. But 4 of those names will be heading in to the Grand Prix series for 2025. But we're going to have to wait a little while yet. It'll be the end of the season before that happens. The Czech Golden Helmet weekend will feature the GP Challenge to decide the final few riders to get into the regular tournament. Of course, finishing in the top 6 is the main aim. Jason Doyle, of course, is a name missing from that. He actually opted to not race in any of the qualifiers, so he's putting it all on qualification through the Grand Prix this year. Previously, he won that last year, the GP Challenge, so there are some Grand Prix names that may well have qualified and have assured their place by then, in which case maybe they will drop out of that. I'm not sure how that works, but we'll find out nearer the time, because no point racing to qualify for the Grand Prix if you've already qualified, I guess, is there? And of course, the winner of the SEC will also get a place in SGP as well. So wild cards are very much limited this year. A quick look at the Cab Direct Championship situation, and it's the Workington Comets who currently sit at the top of the table thanks to their victory at the GT Tyres Arena at Workington at the weekend, when they defeated the Oxford Cheetahs by the narrowest of margins, despite being 8 points up midway through the meeting. In the final few heats, the Oxford Cheetahs wrestled themselves into it to force a last heat decider, but Craig Cook put on a captain's performance and saw the Comets home for the points, and they sit at the top of the table. After the fixture, I caught up with team manager James Denham.
James, a last heat decider, pretty close in the end, maybe too close for comfort for you, but you're top of the league.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, too close for comfort, that's, says it all. We took our foot off the gas, but Cookie brought it home, and Batch, they took the pressure. Tate, I could have put him in 15 as well, but maybe I didn't want the pressure being on him. He's been so fantastic all year, this year, and fantastic again tonight.
Some fantastic racing through the meeting from both sides, from all of the riders. Great spectacle. But I think obviously the power that you've got with Craig Cook and Tate Zischke riding together, it's a real powerhouse duo you've got there.
No, definitely. Them two in Heat 1, hit them hard in Heat 1, and it goes right through the air. And that's what we did last year. Even though it was a league below, we had Ace and Connor, and that's how we built the team. And Tate's been fantastic. Cook has been fantastic again tonight. They all have. Klaus had a bit of an off night, but he's been consistent all year, and we just need riders to muck in, and if someone does have an off night, we can cover that.
And on the subject of Ace and Connor, they were back in the lineup tonight, this afternoon, I should say, guesting for you, and particularly Connor Bailey had a couple of superb rides, coming from third to first and really showing his experience of this track.
No, definitely. He's done a lot of laps around here. He won the National League Riders last year here. He's fantastic to watch, and he was confident tonight, and he loves it here. He really does love the track here. We would have loved to have him back this year, but things obviously didn't happen with Polish situation. But he was fantastic tonight, and it really dug deep and covered at me. He did cover Ante, and that's what we needed.
Well, great entertainment, and congratulations on the win.
No, thank you.
James Denham of the Workington Comets. Team change at Redcar. Of course, they're struggling for points so far, and they've announced the signing of Dan Gilkes, who returns to championship racing, having missed out on that level of speedway in the early weeks of the season. He replaces Jonas Knudsen for the Bears and makes his debut in their trip to Scunthorpe on Friday. Well, here is Dan Gilkes himself talking about that move with Ryan Guest.
Well, Dan, over the weekend, the news coming out that you've agreed a deal to ride for Redcar in the Cab Direct Championship. How did that come about?
I think they were looking at making team changes, and it came at a perfect time for me. There was no fixture clashes, and I've only ever heard good things about Redcar, so I'm really looking forward to the new challenge and getting going.
It was a decision you consciously made over the winter as well, not to pick up a championship team place. So what's changed in the last few months?
It wasn't really my choice. I didn't have any offers. And so Redcar offered, and I jumped at the opportunity. It's a track I really enjoy riding. It's always really well prepared, and like I said, I haven't heard anything but good reports from them. So I'm looking forward to the challenge of riding for them, and and pad out my schedule a little bit.
Yeah, I know it's an old cliche as well, but nevertheless, extra bike time as well, competitive bike time. How important is that going to be for yourself?
Yeah, massive. It gives me probably 2 or 3 more meetings a week, it's what I need. Is we've struggled for track time in England, full stop. I haven't done any practice at all. It's just been racing for Sheffield. So to get some racing in at championship level would be great. And it's a competitive league, so there's never any easy races. So to be racing in there is great. It gives me more meetings, and hopefully I can push on.
From Redcar's point of view, it has been a tough and testing opening start to the season as well. When you look at the results, though, they haven't been on the end of too many heavy defeats. It's just one extra rider coming in, perhaps, to turn things around, and they've still got a lot of ambition for between now and the end of the season. Yeah,
to be honest, I haven't really watched too much of the championship this year. I've watched a couple of videos, obviously, of the of Redcar now assigned, but no, it's like I said, it's hopefully I can do a good job for them. That's what I want to do for every team I race for, is do the best I can, and that's what I'll be doing.
So Dan Gilkes joins the Redcar Bears. We can hear from the Redcar team manager now, Gavin Parr, speaking to Ryan Nassau from the Redcar Bears website.
We need to keep fans happy. Everybody was saying we needed to make changes. It's not that easy. Myself, Jamie, Jade, Keith had spent many hours going through sort of rider lists, etc. I think we know Jonas is a far better rider than he's shown with. Well, he showed with that weekend that what he can do. Unfortunately, it just hasn't worked for Jonas. He's still absolutely a great kid, and I believe, a very, very good rider. So we needed to make a change. Dan sort of approached and said he was available. And we jumped at the chance of having, as I say, one of the up and coming British starlets in the side. He likes Redcar. He loves the track, and we're excited to have him on board.
Obviously, supporters will be concerned that we're still missing that third heat leader, but with options as they are, a promising youngster could potentially step into that berth.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. There isn't anybody. Simple as we've tried. Every option imaginable. But we believe Dan could well easily step into that spot, take the pressure off a little bit off Connor and Jason. And I think between the three of them, they could all give with that little bit extra, which we need. Because let's face facts, we don't need a great deal more. We've been close on most occasions. So, I think Dan could just bring hopefully that little bit more in, and we can turn the season around.
You have to say, when you look at the Redcar team now, with Dan Gilkes now adding to Jason Edwards and Connor Bailey, that they have got 3 of the top rising stars in British Speedway all in one team there, which surely can only be a good thing for Redcar Speedway. Elsewhere in the championship, Scunthorpe back in home action then this Friday. They're facing Redcar at the Eddie Wright Raceway before making a trip to Berwick 24 hours later. And Berwick, of course, keeping the pressure up at the top of the Cab Direct Championship table. Here's how it looks at the moment. Workington then, as we heard, at the top of the pile. 6 meetings ridden, 9 points. 4 meetings ridden and 7 points for the Berwick Bandits. 2 ridden and 4 points. Unbeaten so far, the Poole Pirates in 3rd. Oxford Cheetahs 4th, also with 2 points from their 2 meetings. Scunthorpe Scorpions only ridden 1 meeting so far. They're at 5th. Plymouth in 6th. Glasgow in 7th. Redcar, probably the one to talk about. They're currently languishing down second bottom at the moment, along with Edinburgh. And both teams have 0 points on the board at the moment, and they'll be looking to change that around soon enough, although Edinburgh next will be in BSN Series action, so it won't affect that picture just yet. But obviously a long way to go, but certainly Berwick and Workington getting off to a decent start. Looking at the fixture picture for the week ahead then, there's plenty going on in Speedway, not just in British Speedway, but around the world. Here is the full fixture picture for the week ahead. Starting on Wednesday, May 29th, it's Oxford versus Edinburgh and Poole versus Berwick in the Cab Direct Championship. Thursday, Rowe Motor Oil Premiership, and we've got the Sheffield Tigers versus the Birmingham Brummies, and in the Knockout Cup, it's Ipswich versus Leicester. That's the quarter-final. The semi-final rounds happening next week. Friday, we've got the BSN Series Scottish Group to be resolved between Edinburgh and Glasgow at Armadale. And in the Championship, it's Scunthorpe versus Redcar. Saturday, well, speaking of Jan Kvek, it's his home Grand Prix in the Czech Republic at the Markéta Stadium in Prague. Speedway Grand Prix on Saturday evening. And then we've got Redcar versus Glasgow, 5 p.m. at the Echo Arena in the Championship. Berwick versus Scunthorpe at 7, a fixture that's live on BSN, and the BSN Series Southern section. They're hoping that will get wrapped up between the Plymouth Gladiators and the Poole Pirates. Sunday, just the one fixture. It's the British Under-21 final at Glasgow, a 2 p.m. start time. BSN also showing that. And then looking ahead to Monday, we've got action between the Birmingham Brummies and the Ipswich Witches. Whether that's the Knockout Cup or the League, we'll find out on Thursday, depending on what happens with that. And Oxford Spires versus the Leicester Lions. And then next Tuesday, it's the Plymouth Gladiators versus the Redcar Bears. And that's your next week ahead in British Speedway and indeed World Speedway as well. Lots going on. Have a great week in Speedway. It's going to be a busy period that we're heading into in June. So much going on. And we'll bring you all the reaction and interviews here on No Breaks, No Fear. Have a great week. We'll catch you next time.
No Breaks, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social Podcast Network.